Hello and welcome back to Falcon Blues TV. Now, it's normally myself and Dave Johnson, but today it's a former Everton legend in Dave Watson. Dave, thanks for giving us some time and speaking to us today.
That's okay, it's always good to help out.
Well, we appreciate it, and I've got to give you the awkward question now is, what do you make of Everton's season so far?
It's been a bit disappointing, to be fair, hasn't it? You know, I think with Rafa coming in, I think there was a split in the crowd straight away about, you know, do we want him, don't we want him? And as time went on, results didn't happen. But we're having like the atmosphere around the ground not as good as it could have been. That also affects the players. So, you know, I know it's difficult when you're a supporter and things aren't turning out on the pitch. You know, it is tough times, but the more upbeat you can be as a supporter, the more help it gives to the lads on the pitch, you know.
Of course, and that's what a lot of big Everton accounts are echoing today. To get there early. The club are actually offering a deal to cheaper ale and stuff as well to get in early, which is a great idea, Everton, we're all for that. But you know, to bring flags and stuff like that, because like you're saying, when Goodison's bouncing, it's great, and when it's toxic, it's not nice.
I think there was one game this season, the Arsenal game, where everything was on fire. The lads were really up for the game. They were putting pressure on Arsenal. The fans were behind them, and you know, it turns out a great result in that. And that's what's needed. It's everyone's in the same boat. You know, it's not just the first team getting beat and the supporters go home and forget about that. They live with that for the rest of the week and stuff like that. You know,
of course, yeah. And it's a big game tomorrow, especially after the results on Tuesday. It is a 6-pointer, isn't it, against Leeds now?
Yeah, without doubt it is. You know, you've got to face the facts, and the more you try and hide these things, you know, if we don't beat Leeds, we've always got next week. You haven't always got next week. If you don't beat Leeds, you need seriously looking at. You know what I mean? You've got to get your mindset where you're going out to win that game, and nothing else will be accepted. And that's right through the team, right on the backroom staff, everyone included. Because the longer it goes in the season, the more injuries you pick up, you don't have your key players in the team at the right time, and it affects it drastically.
No, I agree. And the worst thing for me is, which a lot of people have echoed, is that we seem to be missing characters, some leaders. Teams that you've played in yourself, which you want yourself, but we had Duncan Ferguson, Joe Parkinson, you go later on to people like Kevin Campbell, David Weir. We have got good players in the squad, but that's what I see that we're missing at the moment.
Well, you know what, like going back to Howard, God bless him, like he brought characters in, he brought Reezy in, he brought Paul Power in. These, you know, it's not just players that are playing the game on the pitch, they're also very good at that, but they add something else to it, and they add, you know, if you come in at half time, the manager doesn't have to say too much because the senior pros will sort it out. And if someone's not doing what they should be doing, they've got to know about it. If you don't tell them, you know, it's going to happen again in the second half. So you need some forthright players to say what needs to be said, and, you know, sod what they think. They might be your mate again on Monday, but if they're not, so what? As long as he does his job properly.
Yeah. So you're happy with Frank Lampard's appointment?
You know what? I was. Well, I am. I thought it was like a breath of fresh air. I've seen Frank over the years, plays against Frank and bumped into him on coaching courses and stuff like that. And he's a proper football man, you know, his dad will drill that into him. So yeah, you know, in his time at Derby, he's done well. I think he's got a good eye for young kids coming through as well, and he's willing to give them a chance, which we proved at Chelsea. So yeah, I'm delighted that he's come in. And listen, let's not get it wrong, you know, we beat Brentford at home, but we should be beating Brentford at home anyway. But it was a great start for them, some great goals. We've had a little bit of a setback, but we go again now tomorrow, and we go again with the team and with the supporters, and we try to get the place bouncing, because believe me, that sort of kicks the players on.
See that, yeah, all together now as well, you know what I mean? We're hard back for that. But has there been any standout players for you this season? Because there has been some players just to have someone like Andy Gordon maybe, or...
Yeah, you know what, I've seen clips of Anthony, brilliant, and he's most probably the only one who puts decent crosses in the box. He gets more balls in the box than most people. He's still got a little bit of his temperament that he's got to control, where if he doesn't get what he wants, he goes chasing just to kick someone, which is like childish. He's got to grow up, because if he starts getting bookings and gets suspended, we're going to have one or two of the better players out of the team. So he's got to learn to, you know, try and win the ball fairly and squarely, unless you're in a desperate situation, you know. But yeah, he showed great clips. You know what? There hasn't been anyone that has shown a level of consistency throughout this part of the season. You know, you used to get players that were going to be sort of 9 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s every week. But if I was going in as a manager, I wouldn't be too sure what I'm actually going to get. And that's how I feel. So for the good players, you know, I've seen like Keane be good at the back, and I thought, oh, he's coming on now, we've got him. And the next minute, he's giving daft passes away, and he's
very inconsistent.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's the inconsistency. Like, I'd like to think I showed quite consistent form in my performances. You know, I might have been 8s and 7s, but you knew what you're getting. Sometimes when the ball goes to someone, I'm thinking, whoa, you know.
Yeah. But if there was a player you could take from your sort of era that you played with to put in this current Everton side now, who would it be?
Neville Southall.
Big Nev.
Big Nev.
Big Nev.
Do you know what I mean?
It's character like.
but Neville's, you know, Reedy's in there as well. The leaders of men.
Sure.
Kevin Ratcliffe, a leader of men. Pat Vandenau, a bit of a lunatic, but he was up for it. You know what I mean? We had a team of characters. Sharpie, Inchy, they all had a say at what was going on. Sure, Kevin Sheedy. Everyone was concerned about what's happening on the pitch for Everton. And that's great to see, you know, rather than everyone come in the dressing room and no one say anything and they're sitting there like sheep. Get up, get it said, and get on with it.
That's it. We've had some quick questions from some of the viewers, so we'll do it quite quick fire. Your favourite opponent to play against?
Oh, favourite as in tough or easy? Tough. The toughest one was most probably Mick Hartford. We only come across him a few times, Mick, but Mick was all arms and elbows, and he was a real handful. Yeah.
Okay. Best player you played with?
The best player would be Kevin. Along my track, I've also played with Brucey as well, Steve Bruce at Norwich, and but Kevin being a captain, and me coming from being a captain at Norwich. It was great. It was just like we just read off each other straight away, and Kevin had a little bit of pace and will probably covered a bit for me, you know, more than he should have. But we got on great as well off the pitch, which also helps.
Of course, yeah. Favourite manager?
Howard. Yeah, Howard. You know, I wasn't with Howard for long enough, really. You know, in his prime when we won the league in '86, '87, and he'd already had the success before that. But that's when I first came to the club. I'd loved for Howard to have sort of kicked on rather than sort of go away to Bilbao and then come back in dribs and drabs. Because I don't think it was too fair on Howard, because when he come back, the financial situation wasn't the same. He couldn't get the players he really wanted, and you know it was a bit sad to see. But yeah, Howard was my favourite manager.
Right, and the final question. Now this might be a bit controversial. We asked this to all ex-Everton players. Pineapple on a pizza, acceptable or not acceptable?
Not acceptable.
I'm glad you've said that, Dave. Kevin Campbell agrees with that, and so does Lee Carsley. Oh. There we go. But Dave, thanks for giving us your time.
All right.
And up the toffees.
Yeah.
Colin Chong.